All right, hello everybody, and welcome to match number 2 of our first week of the PSS. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined by none other than Michael Flores. Hi, Michael.
Hi, yourself, Michael.
Yes. So,
You're
uh,
also a Michael J.
yes, it's
What year were you born?
1989. So,
I consider you a copier.
okay.
You like net decks my name.
I mean, my mom might have
Those
been a
are
fan of your work. I guess I don't know. Maybe that's. But yeah,
it's likely.
yeah,
I mean, these things just don't happen in abstract.
yep. Okay, so we have a matchup between Bryan Manolakos and Rich Shay. So I am just going to jump down right to the ban screen for these players. I guess this is something, if you don't have the stream up, that you won't be able to see. But all right, chat. I got your message. It was just a little bit late. All right, so we'll talk about Bryan Manolakos' deck. So he starts off
So no
his.
one heard my banter about you stealing my name.
Yep.
That
It
was
depends on what scene I was on. Whenever I switched scenes, it
uh,
it cut it off. So I think we were still on the other scene. But
I guess we'll
as
talk about magic then.
yep, Esper Stifle Knot is the one of the decks that Bryan brought. That one is banned. He's not able to bring that. Sly, that standard, that good red deck is another choice that Bryan Manolakos has, and then the black red Muse deck, which he's well known for. And Mike was joking before that he says no one is going to ban Mano's black red Muse deck.
No,
So
no, no, that's not a joke. That deck
okay,
will not be banned. That is a statistical prediction. No, that deck will not be banned by any player.
yep.
So it's really interesting. Mano has two kind of aggressive decks, like the black red muse deck and the mono red deck, which you described as a good red deck. I'm not sure why. There's a Phyrexian Furnace in this deck, which I guess is for me.
Yeah, it's you. I convinced of it. So
It's literally for me, right?
yep, it was.
That's okay. So but thank you for pointing that out in the previous. I just didn't even notice. I just looked that he had like a red deck, and I'm like, oh, see, I'm not banning this.
Yep.
But now that I know he has a furnace, I might have to think twice about it. I'm certainly not going to ban the black red. So Rich Shay has a blue-white kind of like one-sided Armageddon combo deck, right? Which is like an evolution of blue-white control. So he has his Parfait deck, which is super predictable. He's a master of that deck. So what people don't maybe not know is that Rich liked blue-white standstill, but was frustrated at its inability to contend with aggro decks with red, right? So he made the Parfait deck, which this version has ancestors chosen, right? Like he's really wants to be able to contend with beatdown decks. However, he still wants to play blue-white, so he chose a blue-white deck that can never be defeated. Right, so the Parallax I think is even worse against red than the
Yep, that is the big downside. I think it does become weaker against the red decks.
it's not that much of a downside because the nature of this format is if he's going to be up against red, he just doesn't choose it. He
Sure.
just chooses his other deck.
Yeah.
Right, so it doesn't have a downside. But from my perspective, I think that is the deadliest deck to play against in the entire other 7 players.
Okay. Yep. So Rich's Parfait Oath was banned, so he does have that available to him. So let's go over to figure out what the players did select. I gotta make sure I have an audio scene on this. I need to add it. All right. So the first deck that we're seeing is Bryan, and he is playing Sly. So he has the red deck with that one Phyrexian Furnace that everyone can see. As we joke that he said it's not even his worst card in this matchup, as he's assuming that he's going to be playing against Sly. But if you're not familiar with the red deck in Premodern, it's a very something you will see if you play in games. It's just consistent, aggressive red, and then there's a few cards that kind of come and go depending on the metagame. And here's a pretty standard version that Bryan has. But Rich has also selected Sly, so we're gonna have a mirror, and I think this is what.
That's very predictable, right?
Yep.
So if Rich leaves mana with the black red deck and the red deck, he's not going to select the blue one, right? So, and I think that Rich is probably happy with his red deck against either of Mano's decks. He's like probably a slight advantage against Mano. Like Mano could just draw regular cards and not draw any ball cards. It's like basically the mirror. So he has a slight advantage maybe, and I think he probably has like a medium to slight advantage against the black red deck. Not crazy in either case, but in the alternative, he would be at a severe disadvantage, potentially, if he played the blue-white deck, and no possibility of being at a meeting.
Okay, I'm going to let the players know that they can start. So I'm giving them thumbs up. And we will jump down to the match, which hopefully I have a audio capture on there. I might have to adjust that. Okay, so we're sitting down for the mirror. I will rotate the players' cameras so we can orientate them correctly. And Rich is kicking things off. He's got a Jackal Pup and then an Ursa's Bauble. And he's looking at a random card, and I missed it. I didn't see what was revealed.
It was a cursed scroll.
Well, that is a good one to have in the mirror. I think I don't know if both lists, but they only have one copy a lot of times, or two copies of Curse Scroll a lot of times, and that is a good one to have.
So he used another Urza's Bauble, revealing Mog Fantastic. So Mano is playing I'm not sure if that's a beta. Is that a beta or an Arabian?
I believe it's Arabian Nights.
I once played in the tournament, and Patrick Sullivan didn't like my selection of mountains, so he just gave me 20 Arabian Nights mountains to play with. But then he did ask for them back. He didn't just allow me to keep them. Apparently, those are like $500.
I would say I remember that they were like 50 at a point, and that seemed egregious. But I definitely
they were very expensive. I after playing with them, and people are like, "Oh, those are a nice mountain." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, maybe I will buy my." I did not buy my. I play a lot of red decks, Michael J.
Yes. All right, let me update the life totals. That is a little more relevant this match than it was the last one. I'll try and keep on top of that. So as Mano is at 19, and I don't see we're keeping track of Rich's yet. So
Rich has, I believe, taken 1 point of damage from Jackal Pup being hit by Mog Fantastic, and I think he's going to go to 18 now.
Yep.
As a result of cracking that blood-stained mire.
Yep.
Also, is that also Arabian Nights Mountains? Are these just like the richest red deck players in the entire PSS?
I don't know. I can't tell. They kind of look like different shades. Like Mano's looks a little more vibrant than Rich's, but I don't know if that's just camera.
Maybe Rich has matte sleeves. That looks like a matte sleeve effect to me.
Okay, well, here we have an Incinerate that's
that is specifically a miscut Arena Incinerate.
So not only does it get rid of the Jackal Pup, but Rich takes 3 down to 15. So in the red decks historically, in the old Sly mirrors, would Jackal Pup get boarded out all the time in the mirror?
I mean, it depends on what cards you have access to in your sideboard. I try to build my red deck so that I can take out all of the symmetrical cards. Okay. So Jackal Pup is a card that you typically don't want to have in your deck, but it's not the worst. It has text. You can play it on the first turn. If they don't have an immediate response, you can get in for 2 or something. It's literally not that bad. It is not good, right? You know, there's a lot of things you'd rather have than it. Like I would rather have a random Urza's Bauble than a Jackal Pup in the mirror.
So was that just an attack and a block? I think that's what it was. It's because Mano stayed at 19, so the Mog Fanatics will trade, and now did he just cast Price of Progress to get it out of his hand?
I think so. I think that's what happened.
I think that's just to make Curse Scroll get online.
And that would have to be why.
Yeah, I was
a very good user. Mana otherwise. So at the current life totals, what's Rich at?
8. Or I have him at 15.
15, and Mano just took 3 from an Incinerator,
yeah.
right?
So now I have a 15 all, so.
15 all, Mano's got a Seal of Fire in play, as well as a Cursed Scroll. I don't know how many cards he has in hand, but he's seems pretty driver's seat. Mano's Seal of Fire is actually really powerful insofar that it is like a powerful prophylactic against ball lightning.
Yep.
So that's really, really valuable. Like if Rich is going to try to land a ball lightning, it's not going to happen. And Mano can set a ball lightning.
Yeah, it is a ball lightning.
That's not going to hit Mano.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
right now.
I like Mano. At least if he can get a free roll with this curse scroll, and then if he misses,
Sure.
then he gets seal of fire. So
That is absolutely what he's going to do here, which is like drawing a card.
yeah,
There's only 2 cards in hand, right?
yes, they're just both fire blast.
And
Oh, one's a ball lightning.
okay, this is so horrendous for Rich. Rich is taking 6 on the jaw right here. That ball lightning will smash face. I think if I had an advantage bar, I would have Mano at like 90% likely to win this game at this point.
Yeah, I think even without having that ball lightning connect for a 6, I really like Mano's chances, just because it's really hard to keep threats on the board with the curse scroll active,
Yeah,
and
but
so
you like Mano's chances at like 65% without the ball lightning. The
Yeah.
ball lightning gets is like 90%.
yes,
Right? Like the ball lightning's worth 3 cards,
hmm
and it connected. So what's Rich at?
He should be at 9 if he took 6 from.
Yeah, I mean, Rich is basically dead.
Yep.
So Mano's got like expectation on that first scroll is above 4 points of damage, including off of the Jackal Pup here, right? So he has a free roll shot on the Jackal Pup, which is like drawing 2 cards,
hmm
right? So it'll be, if it hits, it's 2 with the Jackal Pup. I mean, it's also like drawing a card in the other direction. The way that the Jackal Pup works in this matchup is if you hit somebody with it, it's like a shock,
Yep.
right? You don't really need the Jackal Pup to stay alive forever. So if he kills the Jackal Pup, which he's probably going to do because he put that Wooded Foothills, so he's like, I don't know, approximately 100% likelihood of killing the Jackal Pup. He both keeps Rich from dealing 2 to him, which is like countering a shock, and also shocks Rich, and also kills his Jackal Pup. It's like actually a disaster. And, you know, that curse scroll is just going to keep accumulating value.
hmm Yeah.
Almost the best thing that Rich would be able to do would be like, get a Mog Fanatic and kill his own Jackal Pup. I know that sounds stupid, but it's just very bad right here. Mano, why would he consider using his seal unless he has like I don't know, 2 Fire Blasts? 2 Fire Blasts I would use them. I'll tell you right now. that would happen. All right. 3 mana tapped.
This
I
is
don't know what that
I'm
is.
guessing it's a ball lightning.
Ball lightning.
It does have like a Syracuse orange on it. Is that how good are you with mascots?
I don't. Fire Blast on the ball lightning? Is there a higher likelihood of success than 90%? Is there any number higher than 90?
I don't know. Have you ever? I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think so. So I'm going to leave it at 90.
Yeah.
But it was like 16 cards or something that Rich just discarded.
Yeah.
And then Mana, what is this? Upkeep curse scroll? I don't know what's going on here. Some kind of curse scroll, maybe?
Yeah.
Or maybe his land's just tapped, and then he's tapping the Wooded Foothills EOT to thin his deck out?
Well, so
He doesn't have a high enough win expectation.
Yeah, this is all end of turn. Yep.
Oh, okay.
The Seal of Fire took out Rich's Jackal Pup, and then the mana was tapped from the Syracuse orange ball lightning.
You know, the beautiful thing about a card like Jackal Pup, when you're playing against it, is that sometimes you got to think, hey, is my burn going to go to face, or is my burn going to go to creatures to defend myself? Jackal Pup takes that decision away from you.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it. It's fantastic. What is he doing? Is that a...
He's just casting all these Price of Progresses.
Okay, Mog Fantastic. And, no, I think he revealed...
revealed it?
On upkeep.
Okay.
To deal 2. Mog Fantastic's up. What's Rich at? Not very much, right? Yeah, pack into them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna message Mano if he can use that die for
life.
Yeah, for keeping Jackal Rich. That would make our jobs a little bit easier.
So, the interesting thing about that game was I said, hey, what if Mano just draws regular cards? Maybe he'll just draw the good part of his deck. It'll be fine. Mano actually just drew the trash cards in his deck also. But Rich drew like 3 Jackal Pups, and Mano drew...
I mean, the Curse Scroll does hold a lot of weight in the mirror. Like, a lot of things can change by just having a Curse Scroll on board. So,
yeah, it's weird. It's not very good, though. What you said is true, but it's also not very good, because otherwise people would pay, maybe 3 copies, maybe 3. You never see a 3rd copy, let alone 4 in this archetype. It's always 2. Do you think maybe Aaron just decided he only needed 2? And everyone just copies Aaron?
I do think that Aaron's list has influenced a lot of what people play in Premodern. And so I think that is probably why it's become the standard. I personally really like Curse Scroll, and I play like 4 in the slide decks that I play.
Aaron's deck is predicated on having the card Urza's Bauble, which GT counts. It allows him to slightly less land than other red decks. Maybe shave as many as 2 Curse Scrolls. However, the thing I would say is, if you're not going to play Urza's Bauble, maybe you have to play 4 copies of cards like that. I tested Aaron's deck a lot. I talk about this relatively frequently when somebody asks me my opinions on Premodern. It was my first love in the format. Really, I fell in love with Premodern because I fell in love with Aaron's deck. And I was really surprised at the frequency with which I drew Sulfuric Vortex. And originally we were just playing red deck mirrors like this, like and Rich were doing, and Sulfuric Vortex stunk.
Mm-hmm.
But then I played against the Rock once, and I'm like, oh, this card's pretty good.
Yeah.
But then I quickly decided that the Rock was terrible.
Oh.
It wasn't beating the red deck. And then like, oh, my deck is like, this is like, and I was playing the version of the Rock that had like 8 walls, 4 Ravenous Ballots, 4 Blastoderm. Think that deck could get a 50% win rate against Jackal-Pup deck? You'd be wrong.
I disagree. I think you have an edge against the red deck, but
You win. I haven't played 110 games, but I think I've played like 30 10-game sets. That's a lot of games between the Rock and red.
The secret.
Every single 10-game set is 6-4 red, and we always alternate players.
The secret is you don't block with Wall of Roots when you have a 4-drop in your hand. I don't know if you guys were doing that or not, but you just don't block. You just don't let it die because you just put your Blastoderm or your Ravenous Baloth on turn 3, and that changes the game like completely.
Michael J. Hood, I don't block at all. Let's see if my guy puts 2 blocks.
All right. Well, looking at the sideboard for Mano, he does not have a lot set up for the mirror.
Card.
I mean, like Pyrokinesis might be a card. I mean, like especially because he has cards like. I think he does not think he wants his Price of Progresses that he had. This 3 in the main. I don't think they do very good in this matchup.
So I don't think Rich is going to have a lot of Jackal-Pups in his deck after sideboarding.
Nope.
But that said, Pyrokinesis at least lets him pitch multiple cards to get into Curse Scroll range.
Okay.
Which sounds awful, but, you know, do what you got to do. Price of Progress is, like, actively horrible.
Yep. So, yeah, moving over to Rich, he at least has 3 copies of Lava Dart, which I think is just kind of one of the most impactful cards in the mirror. Like, obviously, on rate, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it answers Grim Lavamancers and can answer a Ball Lightning sometimes when you're tapped out if you have already played one. And he already had 1 in the main, so that would be the card that I think you'd lean towards. I don't know if he's bringing in a card like Overload because Curse Scroll holds that much weight. I don't think I would because there's only 2 copies, and I just don't like cards that just don't do stuff in this type of matchup.
So, that is correct. I think I'd bring in 4 copies of Lava Dart in my red deck for the match, but I play the card Detonate instead of Overload for exactly the reason that you did, right? So you wouldn't really want to bring in an Overload, but you would bring in a Detonate.
Sure.
You know, like it does a little damage. So you know, I don't think he's likely to bring in Overload. I think he's definitely bringing in Lava Dart. Lava Dart hits Rich choose to go second?
I mean, he did. And I mean, I can understand the theory. I mean, like, the red mirrors actually do come down to card advantage. Right now, Mano doesn't have his life total on his die, so I'm like, I'm a little nervous about keeping track of both the players' life total now. Oh, he's got 1. There we go. All right, the hero is here.
Back in 1998, I think I wrote an article called "Why Dave Price Goes Second." Dave Price saw me to go second in the red mirror. I don't know that is still right. Like, I think that when Dave did that, the card Jackal-Pup hadn't been yet. So what happened there? The Bauble.
Yep.
Did he reveal a Pillage?
He revealed a Price of Progress, which
a Price of Progress.
Apparently there's a magnet in Mano's hand, and it just draws those Price of Progresses. So
look, man, if it's in your deck, you can't complain about drawing.
Yeah.
That card would be gone. I would rather have Jackal-Pup than Price of Progress, personally. That card has no text.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's spots where I understand that there's a liability for Jackal-Pup, but I feel like there's certain spots where it could do something. But
you might just nuke yourself with that card. Like, what if you just drew? I mean, first of all, it stinks to draw too many non-basic lands in the mirror match sometimes anyway.
I don't know if that's the best criticism of Price of Progress when like Jackal literally always will nuke itself. But yes,
it doesn't. So that's the thing. It doesn't always nuke itself, right? It's not good. I'm not making an argument that it's good. I'm making the argument that that card has text.
sure.
Price of Progress does not have text.
Yep.
Like Jackal, I just play it on the first turn, and like sometimes they don't have a 1-mana answer to it. It gets in for 4, and then they kill it, and okay, it's dead, but it got in for 4.
Price of Progress has been cast. It made Rich crack his Wooded Foothills. Maybe a little earlier than he was planning on doing it. So that's the impact that Price of Progress had.
I'm not impressed by Price of Progress here. Is that a Grim Lavamancer?
Yes, and so this is a card that like Curse Scroll can provide a lot of value of the game. Though this one is a lot more answerable. We see Mog Fanatic coming down, and that possibly is going to take out the Grim Lavamancer unless we see Mano.
Why would he not play the Curse Scroll? I mean, he has to kill that Grim Lavamancer before it can untap and.
Would you possibly use like a card like Incinerate on Grim Lavamancer this turn and keep your Mog Fanatic around? Maybe.
It really totally depends on you.
Yeah, that could be something that maybe he's kind of posturing and trying to figure out what's better.
So having a Mog Fanatic in play is very valuable. Did he get overloaded?
He did. Yes.
Ooh, I was wrong.
So.
I was wrong about what Rich would do. So having a card like Mog Fanatic just in play is potentially very valuable because it can keep you from getting beat up by
Ball Lightning, yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's unlikely that they're going to waltz their Ball Lightning into your Mog Fanatic, but then that's also fine. They just don't cast the Ball Lightning. So, Manos just let him untap with the Grim Lavamancer?
Yeah, I do find that a little peculiar. What does that mean? Like, what is... Especially that...
He could just be going nugs on this.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, did Nano think he was just going to shoot at the Mog Fanatic and the Mog Fanatic was to respond by killing the Grim Lavamancer? What if he just doesn't take that action?
I don't... Okay, so... Well, we know he has a Bolt in hand. I would say, like, maybe he's just trying to prevent, like, a turn from Ball Lightning. But even, like, yeah, because then Rich either has to use, like, soak up 2 damage on the Mog Fanatic. I don't know. Like, maybe it's like a semi-bluff of, like, saying, like, I don't have and he knows he has a burn spell because of Urza's Wobble. I don't know. I can't... I think I would have taken out the...
I literally would have just taken that hit there. But there's no point in blocking.
Yeah.
Like, Mana is so far behind, like... Make him take an action. But I don't understand how the Grim Lavamancer is still alive. This is flabbergasting.
Ah. I guess we found a reason.
Take 2! Face!
So Tormod's Crypt will try and exile all the cards. Are you flashing back this Lava Dart?
I don't know. It depends how many lands you have.
Yeah.
Like,
or how long you think the game's gonna go. Like, I mean, if you think the game's gonna go 5 more turns, you might, that 1 point of damage might make a difference.
What is Mano's life total? Like 16?
He's at 17.
I probably don't go Lava Dart.
Sure.
I mean, that's just like, you discard a card for 1 damage.
Well, it's a little bit different because, like, that... I mean, it's going away kind of thing. I don't know. But...
No, it's not. You're using an active card. You're using a mountain in play.
Yeah, I understand that. But, like, you lose the opportunity to do it later because it's getting exiled. But
yeah, but I'm saying, like, I don't think the rate on discarding a card to deal with. That's my opinion.
I think in 95% of scenarios, yes. It's just maybe contemplating of whether this would be a scenario where that 5% would apply. Looks like a shock has been deployed at Manos Head. The Atog Lord has opted for the Onslaught Shock. Which, I don't know...
Is that killing an Atog?
Well, it's actually shocking a Psychotog. Did you know? So the artist is Edward P. Beer Jr., who did the art for Psychotog. Though I don't know how many times do you think Psychodog has been shocked over the course of Magic's history.
Successfully shocked, like in the Enchantress matchup. Successfully shocked. Oh wait, actually, I have to ask you. I stepped away for like 30 seconds, and DK lost game 2. How did you lose game 2? You just conceded?
The 3 Argothian Enchantresses.
I still don't think he was going to lose the game.
Oh, because you just think he can answer every threat kind of thing.
So bad.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, it's frustrating if you're down 1,000 cards. But how is he going to kill you? He's not going to die to Words of War. Come on, it's not going to happen. I think you just got frustrated. You just have to have some focus.
Okay.
Speaking of focus, there's 5 mountains against 4 mountains. Incinerate Jaw.
Yep.
Ooh, down to 8?
Yeah.
Oh, Rich is way ahead.
Yes.
Maybe don't draw Tormod's Crypt and Price of Progress next time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that was Mano's game plan, but it kind of worked out the first game, I guess, anyways, but...
I mean, in his deck.
Yeah.
Ooh, variability.
The second one, so... Because one has already been answered. Yeah.
I think he's too low.
Yeah, I guess 5 is... I didn't realize he was 5. I think he was at 8. But yeah, 5 is pretty low. I was going to say, if the game was going to go on pretty long, I think that Curse Scroll actually could turn things around, but we might be a little bit too far gone. So
yeah, he's just too low.
Did that bolt get pointed at Rich's head? He didn't move his life total down.
So it was a attempted Curse Scroll on Mogfanatic just now. Mogfanatic just responded by shooting Jaw. Put Mana to 4? I don't know what this life is. He's just dead.
There's not an immediate Fire Blast, so...
Alright. Oh, but there is in Mano's hands. Oh, Mano's going to try to make a liar out of me. Can he go... Okay, so that's 4 points of expectation per turn. So he needs this to stick around for 3 turns to win the game. It's not going to.
Okay.
Lobadart already turned that into like 8 turns.
Sure.
Maybe not 8 turns, right? He needs to do 12. So, depending on what mana draws, I just think he's so far behind. Like 4 life is just nothing.
Yeah, and I mean it's effectively 3 because of the Lava Dart. So, oh well, wait. Now this one's getting sacked.
There it is. So. There it is. That time I would do it.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah. Also, like the 4th or 5th mountain has a lot. Like the 3rd mountain is kind of important in the deck, but like the 4th is diminishing returns, especially if this game is going to be done soon. So. Oh well.
Mano's he can hard cast that Fire Blast. Okay, Rich down to 11. So even damage, right? So Fire Blast is 4. Curse Scroll is 2. Not a lot of lost expectation from cracking eventually.
Sure.
The next Fetchland is going to be a big problem. This one I don't think you crack. I would be really, really happy, like not to cheer against Rich, but just really happy to see if Mano won this one, because I think it'd be crazy comeback. Especially if he drew so many terrible cards. 2 Tormod's Crypts and a Price of Progress.
Right. So he's going to fetch down to 8. I mean, this seems... I'm starting to get a little worried.
He's just spinning his deck to see if he can win the game, right?
Yeah. He's just trying to draw like something here, yeah.
Volcanic Hammer.
Yeah, that would do it.
You know what won't do it? Shock.
Yeah.
Mog Fantastic. Grim Lava Mancer's not great. Alright, what do you got, Rich?
Where's this bauble? We got to rebuy.
Let's keep it going.
Now certain cards get a little bit awkward. Oh, he doesn't even get that opportunity.
He just killed him?
Yeah. Yeah, because the scroll would put him to 6. He would untap. Or he hit the Lava Mancer. So he had 8 right there. Wow, so
amazing.
Good thing you didn't say that was like a 95% chance for
it
first
wasn't a 95% chance.
Yeah.
I just thought it was over. I mean, you could say that it's over, right?
Yeah.
Like the other one was like a 95% chance.
But
like,
yeah, Rich didn't have like anything. It just seemed like Rich had pressure, and then like the pressure went away, and then Rich didn't draw anything.
I mean, he just drew like a ton of cards that were just very bad against the cards that Mano drew.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we said before, like it's not even the case that Mano drew the good part of his deck because he didn't. But
Yeah.
he did draw both Cursed Scrolls, and in the mid game, Rich just drew a bunch of 1/1s.
Yeah.
So Cursed Scrolls good against 1/1s, I guess. What do you want me to do, Michael J. Hoyt? Do you want me to help you recap this matchup, or do you want me to set up my rig for?
Yeah, let's have you, because you have a little bit of work to do to get that. So I'll talk to chat as things get set up, and I think we'll probably, if Flint should be available, and we'll take the reins and kind of chat. So yeah, you start getting things set up.
So do you want me to? So should I use the original Whereby Room, or do you want me to use this Mano Whereby Room?
We'll figure it out, I guess. It depends. I mean, if whatever Flint wants to do, if he's there. So,
all right. He should be, right? Like, we were supposed to go on at 9 for me.
Yep. All right. So, all right, chat. We'll set things up for our match where we will see Michael Flores, and you're playing against Tom Metelsky. So
I am. Do you want me to give you my preview for the Tom Metelsky match?
Sure. I'm sure chat would love that. So,
Tom surprised me, and I think probably everybody, by banning my Boros deck. I thought no one was going to ban my Boros deck. Tom told me separate on like Twitter that he thought the Boros deck was good against all three of them. And it is. Although I banned his Landstill deck because I didn't want to play against his one Parallax Tide. So he's left me with my Replenish deck from LobsterCon. I played the same 75, as well as my Stasis deck. And I banned Tom's Landstill deck, like I said, which leaves him with his 12-12 deck and Mono Red, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think he's going to play the Mono Red deck. It's obvious I'm playing the Replenish deck. So I don't think he's going to play the Mono Red deck. His version of Mono Red is like the opposite of Mano. So like Mano has an out in the main deck. Tom doesn't even have an out after sideboard.
Sure.
So he's not going to play that deck. And I'm not going to play the Stasis deck because Tom beat the Stasis deck with his 12-12 deck on the way to 6-0 this month.
All right.
So my prediction is Tom Metelsky on 12-12s, Michael J. Flores on Replenish, and it's going to see which one of us decks the other one because that's how the game's.
All right. Well, we'll see if your predictions come true. So, all right. So I will end the call and we'll get things set up, but chat will be right back for our third round of week 1 of the Premodern Showdown series.